Turning to the economy, wow, have the markets rallied recently. The S&P and NASDAQ hit all-time highs today. The Dow was chasing the pack close to its own record. And while overall inflation stayed steady, core inflation is running hotter than hoped, according to the PCE report that was just released today. And at the same time, consumer confidence just saw its biggest jump in 6 months. And of course, we've got the big, beautiful bill top of mind, too. So what does all of this mean for your money and the Fed's next move? Patrick Mueller, RFC and president of Bella Advisors, joins us now to break it all down. Patrick, good to have you back. So first, what's driving this big market rally lately?
It's all of the, we got the tariff money that's coming back in. And I think people are not as fearful as they were because everything was so doom and gloom, Alicia, when Trump was coming into office and everybody was scared. Nobody knew what was going to go on. And it was like, oh, my goodness, this is the world is ending basically on everything. And so it really started driving the markets down this year. And we went down 20% in the first quarter. And now people are realizing that as all these trade negotiations are starting to work out, that now it's jumping back and people are becoming more optimistic on what's going. And you're starting to see this working where we have companies coming back into the country. GE just announcing that they're going to be moving from China into Kentucky. So lots of good stuff that's happening, but I don't think we're done with the volatility. We have all these tariff talks, deadlines that are coming up here in the first part of July, and I think we got to watch out for that.
Okay, so the breaking news today that President Trump ended trade talks with Canada today over the digital tax. But, you know, the stock market kept climbing, maybe because, what do you think? Are investors more focused on the positive news coming from China, U.S.-China, the rare earth deal there and trade?
That was a big deal, and I don't think that the negotiations with Canada, anybody really cares about that too much. Mm-hmm. I think they realize that long term. I mean, Canada needs us way more than we need them, and so I think that the markets realize that, and I think everybody's really excited that we're back to all-time highs. And we saw the GDP report come out, and it contracted a little bit in the first quarter of this year. It came out yesterday. And the markets didn't care about that either. So they understand that long term there's good things that are happening. And I think that people are very optimistic of where things are going to go longer term.
We are seeing mixed signals. Overall inflation stayed steady. Core inflation ticked up a bit. But at the same time, consumer sentiment just saw a big jump. How should we be interpreting these conflicting numbers?
Yeah, I think that everybody has been concerned, the first part of this year, and people are kind of wondering, well, should we be, spending our money now? Should we be waiting till all this tariff stuff goes through? Is it going to be a big deal? So we've seen a little bit of a pullback on that. And then kind of on the other side, we've had tons of imports coming in with companies not knowing what's going to happen. So you got a lot of companies that are overstocking and overbuying and things like now, because of the tariffs. But really overall, it's really kind of a wash right now. So I think moving forward, I think a bigger driver on that is, that would help things would be Powell if the Fed can stay on course and start dropping interest rates like they should be dropping it right now. Yeah. So there's a lot of political games that are going on right now that could be helping fuel the economy and also restructuring our debt that needs to be restructured right now. So you got $20 trillion of debt right now that has to be renegotiated. And so that's a big deal and a big driving force moving forward.
Yeah, speaking of Powell, he recently testified before Congress. President Trump has been pushing him to cut rates by, 2 to 3 points. This is a big cut. No avail so far. What do you think? Are we on track for a rate cut in September, this summer sometime, or do you think that window is starting to close?
I think that window is starting to close. They've been pushing off of everything. I hope that they do start cutting the rates a little bit because we've seen the rates jump back up, up above back where they cut the rates last year. So it's definitely needed to help stimulate things and to help people with getting into new mortgages and things of that nature and bringing those rates down. I think Trump's optimism of wanting to bring it down 2-3%, he might be saying that and just hopeful that if he brings it down 0.5 point or 1 point. But it would, I think it definitely needs to happen. But the Fed is always late to the game. They're always late, and they cause more problems than they help, in my opinion.
Ugh. Okay. Well, top of mind right now, big beautiful bill. Why is it so important or not, in your opinion, to get it passed soon?
It's so huge. I don't think a lot of people realize, Alicia, that this year is such a pivotal year tax-wise because our tax rates end at the end of this year. So back in 2017, we had the Trump tax cuts back then, and we've had these tax cuts since then, but they expire at the end of this year because Congress never made it permanent. So the rates go back next year to what they were back in 2017. So if people are in a 12% bracket, it's going to be 15 next year. If somebody's in a 22% bracket, it's going to 25. If somebody's in a 24% bracket, it's going to go to 28 or 33. And you've got somebody right now that makes close to $400,000 a year that pays a lower tax rate right now than somebody that made $75,000 a year back in 2017. So it's massive. People are going to get a huge tax increase if Congress doesn't act on that this year. And, it's just like everything in Congress, it's all a big show. And, we just hope that everybody can come together and try to at least extend the current tax rates out, even if the big, beautiful bill doesn't go through.
Well, we're looking at a July 4th deadline. Optimistically, hopefully they make it by July 4th. Patrick Mueller, RFC and president of Bella Advisors. Appreciate your time and insight today. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thanks, Alicia.
Thank you.